my whole brain is rearranging. And I feel like the world is the dirt beneath my feet.
Hello random people on the internet, hope nothing else to do but watch videos on YouTube. Super here. So, I am very late to making this video. I guess I didn't want to go through the hell of editing one of these videos again. But I guess I bit the bullet if you're watching this. Before I get into the manga itself, however, alright, let's discuss this title. I wasn't really expecting the previous video to do so well compared to my other content, and for a while, it was actually my most viewed video, till, like, you know, the Raymond thing. It did accomplish my goal of reminding people this manga exists, though, which is very good. Not in all ways, but you'll hear about that in a moment. Though I didn't have the same enthusiasm as I did while working on the first video due to the pure amount of editing I knew that had to be done. So that's why I took a while off until the nightmare called 2020 hit. Even with me staying inside a lot normally, that was by choice. I didn't want to risk the Rona, so I gave myself things to do and work on. Played a hell of a lot of Animal Crossing, have been listening to The Weeknd's catalog non-stop for the past 4 months, and who knows, might make a video on that once I convince myself that not every music-related piece of content I create is total trash. And of course, made videos. I remember the project I wanted to do months ago, and in April of this year, I decided to finally work on it. Only one little problem though. So let me explain. These images that pop up on screen, they're not taken by me. They're all scans of varying quality that I got from some random page I bookmarked online, since normally if you took photos of these books without any real setup, it would be very low quality. I still had the bookmark months later, so I went to the site, and nothing showed up. Searched it up again on the site, and nothing popped up again. Odd, but not unheard of, these things get taken down all the time. Go to another manga site I know is legit, and they don't have it either. Strange, but alright. So I'm looking all this up, and I message a friend of mine who knows a thing or two about manga, and tell him everything that's happened up to this point. He mentions Kiss Manga, which according to him just had about anything you were looking for. I'm only saying the name of the site because it got obviously taken down. If you're living under a rock, that and Kiss Anime were both taken down. It was there. However, it was only the first book, and for some reason, multiples of one chapter from the 5th, but all in like different languages. I don't know, it was weird. Also, some of those chapters were uploaded only a month after I posted my video, so were the originals taken down? So I go on a Googling spree, looking through dozens of sites but coming up with close to nothing. However, again, I find another site with the same chapters uploaded on similar dates. Then I notice at the bottom the amount of links Google had taken down due to DMCAs. And that's where the conspiracy starts. What if Viz Media is only now taking down the scans of this obscure manga because I made a video on it last year? I did eventually find the scans, suck my dick, but they really went to lengths to get rid of scans of a manga they don't even sell digital copies of in the first place. Unless you count the thing I didn't even know existed until after writing the script, which was the fact that they sell these on Kindles. It doesn't even say, like, on the page on their site, like, how you get these. Like, it doesn't tell you. But you can get it on Kindle and, like, something else. But here's the thing. How many people do you know that use Kindles? How many? Tell me. Tell me, because legitimately it sounds like something that you think people use, but really, the more you think about it, the more you're like, do people really use these? Do they? Do they really? And either way, it's not a good way to preserve the art form. So, either way, I couldn't use it. Do they not realize that scans aren't just for cheap people to get free stuff, and a lot use it actually for preservation? I own all of the books from this manga! I have pictures to prove it! And I still used scans because it doesn't age like a lot of my copies have. Viz, just cut the crap and release your stuff on a digital platform that isn't obscure. Or just stop interfering with the preservation of works you obviously don't care about much. At least until someone makes a semi-successful video on it. Okay, I think I said everything I've needed to say on that. It's been over a year since the first video, so I suppose I should recap some of the characters for those of you who don't exactly have the best memory. Haretta is the main character who is, absolutely feral. No, seriously, he was raised by Pokemon. Super good trainer, but that's kind of expected. Who has a strong bond with his Pokemon, which, again, also pretty expected for a main character. Mitsumi is my first ever crush and also happens to travel along with Haretta. Oh, and I guess she's a former member of Team Galactic. Jun is just absolutely terrible and constantly hits on Mitsumi, and I absolutely despise him. This is the man I call the Ginger Cake Man, because his entire character is how double-cheeked up his ass is, and how much people abuse it. That's not a joke. The rest of the characters are pretty much the same as their in-game counterparts, however if you need a refresher, you can always go back to my first video. We're now on to the fourth book, picking up where we left off with Mitsumi fighting with Team Galactic at Lake Acuity, where, whoops, Juniper lets Mitsumi's secret past slip. Jun is in denial, but she confirms that Juniper is telling the truth, which leads to the Galactic member using this to her advantage and attacking him, allowing her to effectively blackmail Mitsumi into going to talk with Cyrus. Haretta arrives right after they leave and finds Jun, defeated and wanting to go train instead of helping fight Team Galactic. So, basically, Jun is selfish like usual. Haretta randomly gets attacked by what is revealed to be the Snow Point City gym leader, Candace, who pretty much forces him to battle if he wants to go after Team Galactic. She also reveals that she has 3 fucking legendaries. 3! How are you only a gym leader? They start the fight, Riolu fucking dies, except it doesn't and instead evolves. Candace gives the win to Haretta before taking him inside of Snow Point Temple, which inside holds the sleeping legendary Pokemon Regigigas. She wants Haretta to use it against Team Galactic, so he has to try and catch it. Of course, he's very enthusiastic about it, and while they battle, our beloved Assman arrives, planning to take it for himself. After a long battle, Haretta successfully catches the legendary, Assman gets caught, and they're off to fight Team Galactic. Before they get there, though, it turns out that Cyrus has already captured the final legendary in the Lake Trio, Mesprit, and tells the professor that Mitsumi is his ally now. Uh-oh. Back to our main cast, Juniper has a midlife crisis in front of Haretta, and whoops, everyone's captured now, who would have thought? And now... Oh god, that is very, fucking hot. Back on topic. She's bad now, and starts fighting him. Turns out Cyrus raised her into a fighting machine with quote-unquote no weak spots. Our protagonist is trying to figure out what turned her to the dark side, and apparently he pissed on her bag, so, that's pleasant knowledge to be aware of. During the battle, she's reading him like a book, predicting all of his attacks while Cyrus is blackmailing her to win in order to keep her little favorite Eevee alive. So then, in a desperate move from Haretta, he starts using himself as a Pokemon. And fucking wins. How is this man alive? Or at least supposedly wins, until she sends out 2 more Pokemon. Also, at the end of the book, there's some random story about them all with a shaman that isn't really relevant, so I'm not really gonna talk about that. On to the 5th book, and oh shit, they're actually fighting now. Regigigas goes rogue and attacks Mitsumi before Haretta tells it not to, which she's pretty offended by how lightly he's taking the battle, but actually, she finally breaks. Haretta is an absolute mad lad, running up a hydro pump to yell at Cyrus, who, by the way, is still threatening her. Either way, he actually wins, which results in Juniper saying she's going to blow up the whole building. Mitsumi doesn't care and talks about how she's happy Harada was her final opponent. Cyrus, of course, doesn't care and starts explaining what he's been doing with the Lake Trio. That he basically needs them in order to create the red chain, which controls Dialga. Saturn shows up and Harada's Pokemon are too tired to fight, but that's fine, because I mean, he's just about as much of a Pokemon as they are, to be honest. So he just throws the fucking Rhyperior he has. Oh my god. Who am I to judge the logic of this series anymore? Cyrus keeps going on about his ideology that sounds like it's straight from r/incels. And even after that speech, it's clear Harada even cares about that horrible piece of shit. The building finally starts blowing up, and Cyrus chucks him a Master Ball before escaping to use on Mount Cornet in a battle. It's revealed afterwards that, oh look, John's back, yippee. I mean, at least he saves Harada and Mitsumi. But I don't want him. Something seems wrong with Piplup, so Mitsumi finally tells Harada she put an Everstone on it. So once it off, it instantly evolves into Empoleon. Back to Cyrus, he thinks they didn't survive the explosions, so he starts summoning the legendary Dialga. Jun keeps Juniper preoccupied so Harada can go fight the head of Team Galactic, but uh-oh, Mars is here to keep him preoccupied. He seemingly beats her, but god, why am I not surprised he'd get involved with this? All of a sudden, however, all of the fighting is interrupted by Dialga finally appearing, controlled by Cyrus. So now Harada is literally fighting God. It isn't really going so well. Regigigas is actually defeated whilst time is stopped. Also, shocker, Cyrus is a bad guy. Who would have thought? Oh, and there's another god Pokemon in case you weren't aware. The Team Galactic leader makes a pun so bad it makes me want to go back to the 1600s to chuck rotten tomatoes at this man, and then immediately afterwards he goes back to his Tumblr vent blog ramblings. And just as things start to look hopeless for our heroes to stop this madman, the Lake Trio show up and break the red chain. But now there's bigger fish to fry. Yep, the gods are fighting. Should probably stop them before they rip time and space apart at the seams. So, on the spot, they plan to capture one of the legendaries via the Master Ball Cyrus gave Harada. And look, everyone's here. This might actually work. It deflected the fucking Master Ball. Also, no, I'm not gonna make the obvious joke here. It's a dead meme, for God's sake. Surprisingly, Cyrus has a change of heart and mentions that Dialga's signature attack, Roar of Time, makes Dialga freeze for a few seconds. But how are they gonna make it use said attack? Easy! Just right on the back of a fucking god into a dimensional rift. How, once again, is this child not goddamn dead? Surprisingly, this plan works, but it's obvious what really made us win in the end. And the gods stop fighting. Lovely. And now the final book to look at for this video, the 6th. Our heroes are all fighting for the title of #1 trainer in Sinnoh, and oh my god, it's a disaster lesbians. Yes, this is a fucking food I need. Oh my god, I love them. I want to smash them together like Barbie dolls to make them Alright, this asshole is here now. Harada pisses him off and hey look, they're about to start battling in the bleachers because of course they are. And Mitsumi stops them because she kinda has to. Turns out the asshole's name is Koya. Mitsumi gives up on the match and now it's Jun versus Koya, aka Asshole versus even bigger asshole. Koya absolutely annihilates Jun and proceeds to tell him that he shouldn't even be able to handle Pokemon. Harada yells at him and wow, he's really worked up over this, isn't he? Harada's finally up, now against one of the members of the Elite Four, Flint. It's a difficult match, but Harada eventually defeats him just to try and prove Koya wrong. They're both moving on to the semi-finals, but there are other matters that need to be attended to, such as Harada's father being way too hot for my liking. Goddamn himbo. Right, and Koya is suspicious as Mitsumi eavesdrops on his call with an unknown individual. He then proceeds to threaten her, so yeah, that doesn't really make matters any better? All this before the big fight, Koya versus Hareta. It seems as if Koya completely outclassed her in every sense of the word, especially with it appearing like both Hareta and Luxia were almost immediately knocked out. But that wasn't the case at all. Hareta sensed that Luxia wanted to evolve, and that it exactly did. Can't really go into the details of every little thing during this battle simply because I want you all to experience it for yourself. However, it's extremely close. Oh, and there's Hareta's father cheering him on from the bleachers. Oh, so is the police. He's probably avoiding child support if I'm gonna be real with you all. Maybe some simple tax evasion as well. But, just as the fight was heating up, the stadium was attacked by Team Galactic. But of course the himbo doesn't really care about that. He just admits to the kid that he's his dad, and Hareta just kinda accepts it. I'd be just a little bit upset my father practically abandoned me, but I guess that's not everyone. Back to the important matters, there's a new Team Galactic leader, and yep, they're trying to blow up the whole stadium. They do the same thing they did in Celestic Town by shooting the bomb into the sky with a hydro pump, but this appears to be a much stronger one than the one back then. One that can even kill the galactic grunts that are setting it off in the stadium. Yeah, Team Galactic is more of a cult now than anything else. So instead of the previous plan, all the trainers in the stadium team up and all use light screen to contain the explosion. And Hareta's father, named Kaisi by the way, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, runs away from the cops again, but not before giving Hareta an egg. See? Happy ending. Except for the fact that Team Galactic plans on using Garatina to, like, f*** everything up. So, those are books 4, 5, and 6. I can't really say this enough, but these books are something you really should experience for yourself. I don't want to spoil everything that happens to them simply to not ruin the surprise. Now, I don't think this video will do as good as the previous one, but I will say this. If you really want a final part to this little series with books 7 and 8, get this video to 50 likes. Reason I have an actual like goal for this one specifically is because of book 7, since it's going to be a living hell to get scans for. I might even have to use my own copy since I haven't been able to find it anywhere online. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe if you want. It's honestly kinda hard to believe that I may hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year, over double what I was hoping for. And again, sorry for this video taking so long. I didn't want to force it out, and instead I wanted it to be actual quality. If you've never seen the previous video, that'll be in the outro. So, yeah. Alrighty. See ya.